Kia ora, Matapelo here to bring you the weather today on Tuesday, the 29th of August. Well, looking at what we've had, most of the country is under the influence of a ridge of high pressure, meaning very settled weather, very clear weather. The overnight period was very cold. Places like Taupo and Waihuru got some of the coldest temperatures of the year so far. However, going forward, this frontal system here is expected to move away from the country, leaving us dominated by this high pressure system. But don't look too far away from what's happening up here in the north. There is another frontal system on its way to the country, bringing a little bit more wet weather to the northern parts, which will be affecting places like Auckland, Northland, and the Coromandel Peninsula into tomorrow. The rest of the country is expected to keep being dominated by this high pressure system. So that high pressure system means that for the bulk of the time, we've still got clear sky conditions and fairly light winds, meaning it's another cold morning to start the day off on Wednesday. Some of those temperatures in the central North Island, -2 for places like Taupo. Even up north in Auckland, another cold start to the day at 4 degrees in the morning. Down in the South Island, again, another cold morning to start the day. Christchurch only at a minimum of 1 degree in the overnight period. Looking for the rest of tomorrow, that high pressure system still plays its part. However, this trough up here does move southwards, bringing some showery conditions for those eastern parts of the northern part of the North Island. There is a possibility of thunderstorms in there, and as we know, a possibility of more intense downpours with those thunderstorms. So if you're out there, especially in those eastern coastal parts, do keep an eye on metservice.com. For the South Island, that high pressure system keeps things a little bit cloudier on the western side, but out in the east, a lot more fine conditions expected. So we can take a closer look at the North Island. We see a gradual increase of that cloudy conditions starting to drift down as the day goes on. And it brings with it some showery weather as well. And then the bulk of those showers are going to be concentrated in the eastern parts, heading down towards the Hauraki Gulf, including Great Barrier Island and eventually the Coromandel Peninsula. Places like Bay of Plenty and the Waikato could see some of those showers by the end of the day. For everybody else, just some partly cloudy to fine conditions and fairly settled weather expected in the overnight period as well. Looking at the temperatures for tomorrow, daytime temperatures very average for this time of year in the mid-teens, and the increase of that those cloudy conditions means that the overnight period won't be as cold as what we've seen lately with those clear sky conditions. So a little bit warmer in the overnight period. Then jumping over to the South Island, bit of a simpler story out this side. In the west, we see an increase of those northwesterly conditions, which means a gradual increase in cloud as the day goes on, and some of those showers moving from the sea area onto the land. Down south, a fairly clear sky condition day. However, offshore, those winds are a little bit stronger. In the east, a lot clearer sky conditions is what we're expecting for tomorrow. So that's reflected in the temperatures as well. Those temperatures in the mid-teens for a lot of places, and actually places like Christchurch, Queenstown, as well as Invercargill, those daytime temperatures are going to be some of the warmer ones that we've seen for the month of August. The overnight temperatures are also not as cold as what we've seen recently, so fairly pleasant conditions going forward. Then looking ahead to Thursday, we see that trough of weather starting to move away gradually from the country. The rest of the country comes back under the influence of this high pressure system, with the far south looking like those winds are still a feature, and that next front on its way for the extreme far southwest. Well, that's all I have for you today. Keep an eye on metservice.com.